Someone sent me a YouTube video to watch and then comment on. We're going to play 3 minutes of this video and then I'll give my comments on the information that is being shared. Let's watch the video.
You Africans got some damn nerve, man. The Israelite school at UPK been teaching the truth since 1969, and I'm gonna show you today. Get me in Joel, where they said they sold us to the Greeks. Joel chapter 3, man.
That's right.
I'm gonna show you all this article right here. You hold on. Read this article here for me, huh? I'm gonna show you where you're gonna start to read from.
That's right. I'm over here with John.
Oh, this one like this. You're gonna read from right here. The House of Representatives. You see it? No sweat. Don't. Let's go this. The House of Representatives. Right there. All right. Read. The House. This is an article that a brother wrote documenting that the Africans are apologizing for their role in slavery to the blacks in America. What is that telling you? That they sold us to the white man. You all been gamed up thinking we African, and some white man went to Africa and stole us. That's a damn lie. The Ghanaians, the Nigerians, the Senegalese, the Cameroonians, them damn the filthy Ethiopians sold blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians to the white man in slavery, man. Read. Go ahead.
Many West African nations and tribes have issued apologies for their role in the transatlantic slave trade.
Read that again for all you Pan-African, I'm Africa, oh Mama Africa people, man, that think you some damn African. The Africans sold you into slavery, and right now they are apologizing for their role. Read it again.
Many West African nations and tribes have issued apologies.
Have issued what?
Apologies.
Have issued what?
Apologies.
You're only going to apologize if you do something wrong. And what them Africans did to black people was wrong. Was 400 years of a crime that they benefited. They got paid for each black man they sold into slavery. And you gonna come up here and tell me about Christ Rastafari? Damn the Ethiopians, man. Damn you Africans. And you are going to serve slavery under a black man called Jesus Christ. Read.
Hey,
All right. Go ahead.
In 1999, President of Benin, a neighbor of Nigeria, apologized for his nation's role in slavery.
Yo, then y'all will never hear that. The American government will never put that on CNN. T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar and Louis Farrakhan ain't gonna never tell you that the Africans sold you into
It's
slavery.
very heartbreaking when I see brothers from these camps behave this way. They are repeating the same errors our ancestors made, which contributed to the transatlantic slave trade. The brother in the video read an article which stated that the leaders in some tribes in Ghana and Benin apologized for their role in the transatlantic slave trade. This is true, but we have to pause to find out why they apologized. There is a sign posted at the Cape Coast in Elmina Castle from the chiefs and leaders in Ghana that reads, "In everlasting memory to the anguish of our ancestors, may those who died rest in peace. May those who return find their root. May humanity never again perpetuate such injustice against humanity. We the living vow to uphold this." Because of not knowing the real details behind this apology, you have misinformed statements and wrong conclusions drawn by the author of the article that the brother in the video was reading. We have to be careful. We cannot read materials from Google and run off with it. The bare bones information we know of the transatlantic slave trade is that, number one, some African people sold fellow Africans to non-Africans for personal gains. This is false. Hamitic Africans did not sell fellow Hamitic Africans into slavery. Or did they sell their family members into slavery, like it was portrayed in the opening scene in the film Amistad, where a family sold a fellow family member into slavery? That is complete falsehood. Nowhere in African history did Hamitic Africans sell family or relatives into slavery. Number 2, some Hamitic Africans sold Negroes or Hebrews for personal gains. This is half truth. It is not only Hamitic Africans, but also Negroes, Hebrews, also sold fellow Negroes or Hebrews into slavery as well. Therefore, the correct statement about the transatlantic slave trade should then be Hamitic Africans and some Hebrews sold Hebrews to non-Africans for personal gains. Or Africans and some Hebrews sold Hebrews to non-Africans for personal gains. Or we can word it further. Africans and some Negroes sold Negroes to non-Africans for personal gain. My point is, Hebrews also sold fellow Hebrews as slaves for personal gain. This is fact. The strip of land in West Africa that was once called the Slave Coast stretched from the Volta River in Ghana through Togo, modern-day Benin, which was called Dahomey, and Nigeria. These 4 countries that now occupy this stretch of land was one territory before the Europeans divided the African continent to define their trade zones in 1844. The result is the current Africa as most people know it today. However, Evenyigba, Hebrew land, was the name of this strip of land that now house these 4 countries. The people that occupied this stretch of land were called Eves, Hebrews, or Eveville, Hebrew people. Because my brother mentioned Benin, let us focus on Benin. Let us focus on Dahomey. The people of Dahomey are from the tribe of Dan, modern-day Benin. An in-depth knowledge of their oral history, knowledge of their culture and tradition compares to information in the Torah. Their landmarks and city names agree with similar names in the Torah as well. The name Dahomey is actually a compound name. Da is the name of their ancestor and Home means home. When you put together, you get the home of Dan, specifically the home of the tribe of Dan. When you watch my video on the 12 tribes chart, you will get more information about the tribe of Dan. The link is going to be in the description box. Those camps who shout on these streets, "We are Hebrew Israelites and not Africans. The Africans sold us into slavery and we have no relationship with them." For your information, the majority of the victims of the transatlantic slave trade met their fate at the hands of fellow Hebrews. Hebrew on Hebrew crime. Do not be surprised. Do not think it's unheard of. We have the same atrocity documented in the Torah when Joseph was sold by his own brothers. This was repeated again when Hebrews in Africa sold their brothers as slaves to the West. And now we have some Hebrew Israelites from these camps in the West repeating the same atrocity, shouting, "Damn the Nigerians, damn Ghanaians, damn the Benins," not realizing they're damning their own Hebrew brothers. Don't forget, the majority of the Hebrews are in Africa, and our ancestors played a big role in selling fellow Hebrews into captivity. Take time and do a research on the kingdom of Dahomey, and you will find out they were one of the big players in the capture and enslaving of many of their neighbors. Dahomey is a member of the 12 tribes, playing a major role in the selling of fellow Hebrews into slavery. It is not only the tribe of Dan who did this. Other groups in the Congo also did this. So you want someone to blame. You want someone to damn. I suggest we look closer to home. This is why the leaders of these Hebrew tribes apologized. They are Hebrews. because they are aware of the history. They now realize their ancestors had sold their own brothers and sisters into slavery. When a man points a finger at someone else to blame them, he should remember that 3 of his fingers are pointing back at himself.